Alright, this video I'm going to show you how to use the cropping tool in Photoshop to adjust your images. So the crop tool is over here on your toolbox. On my workspace, it's on my left hand side, it's right here. When you right click on that, you can see there are other tools within that one icon or this one tool. You want to make sure you select crop tool. And every time you select a tool, up here you'll see some variations in that tool itself. Right now, this is selected at custom. You can choose some automatic cropping sizes, like a 4x5 will give you this 4x5 rectangle, a 1x1 square, you can crop to a square, or if you want to freely crop, you can select unconstrained, and this will allow you to drag and move and change this cropped shape as you wish. Okay, if you drag from the top or bottom, you'll be able to move it vertically. If you pull from the right or left side, you'll be able to pull it horizontally. Now, in order to make sure that your cropped image is a certain size that you want, because not always can you just crop to crop and then print it to whatever size it happens to come out. Sometimes you can do that, but in particular with this poster design, you want to make sure that it is cropped to an 11x17 or as close to that as possible. And an 11x17 rectangle is different than an 8x10 rectangle and its shape. So what you could do as well is you could type in here at the top 11x17 and it's going to give you a rectangle that's at that same ratio. So now I know that this cropping is going to translate very nicely as an 11x17 poster design. Okay, so if I want to zoom in and really look at my edges to make sure I have no white space or everything that I wanted cropped is cropped, you can zoom in. The way I like to do it is I hold down my control key and I hit the plus button, and that allows me to zoom in a little bit closer, and then I can slide my bar back and forth, and you can see like there's a little bit of overlap here. It's not a big deal. I'm not cutting off anything important in the design. Here there's a little bit of white space. I'm not super keen on that, but again, it's not a deal breaker. It's not a bad crop, and I want to have as much of the design in there as I can. If I bring this in any farther, it could very well take away some of the detail on the hair. Now if I zoom out by using my control minus key, you can see if I drag from the side or the top, it keeps that same shape rectangle, so it keeps that ratio, that 11x17 ratio. So it makes for a nice little exact measurements. If I take that off, and many students do this and they forget that if they're supposed to be printing to a certain size, like 11x17, they will pull and adjust this to whatever they think looks good and then say, oops, I printed a square on a rectangle piece of paper. I'm not supposed to do that. This is what you need to remember. If you want to keep your entire design in this particular shape and ratio, okay, this is our 11x17 ratio, just by mainly putting it there. You can grab a corner, hold down your shift key, then drag that corner, and it keeps the same ratio. It just allows you to shrink it and enlarge it, and then you can move your design to the desired cropped area. So there's a couple different ways you can do it. I would suggest for the poster design project, you type in 11x17 and you let it do the work for you to make life a little bit easier, simpler, no problems. Once you have it cropped to your liking, then you can hit enter, or you can hit the checkbox up here to select your changes. Now if you look in your history tab, you can see you've opened a document and you've cropped it. This keeps a nice history of what you've done so that if you needed to back up, you can back up and get rid of some of the steps that you created. You can see that your layer over here is now a cropped version of what you see in front of you. And that is how you use your cropping tool.